This is the first video I'm making in a series of videos about ADHD, although generally about mental health, but because I have ADHD myself and autism, I will primarily be talking about them, but of course I will be covering mental health conditions in general because I do have quite a few problems, so to speak, but that's in they're the future videos. In this video, I want to talk about something called sensory processing disorder, or SPD. It's something that a lot of people don't understand. People who don't have the condition don't understand. I'm not even sure whether people don't even know it exists, quite honestly, because it's a very hidden condition. It affects more autistic people than ADHD people with ADHD, but it is still very common with ADHD as well. Just more common with autism. This video is going to be unedited, by the way, because I want these videos to be completely authentic. I want to be myself, and I want people to relate to me. So if I stammer and stutter, I have weird mannerisms. That's I'm trying to be myself, and I'm trying to let my quirks. I'm trying not to hide my quirks because I want to be myself, and I want people to relate to me on a personal level. But anyway, so SPD, right? If you don't know what it is, I mean, if you're watching this video, you likely do know what it is, but if you don't know, sensory processing disorder is a problem where your brain, well, it's a name, your brain processes the sensory information around you not very well. It struggles to process the information. But there are two types. There's one where you can be undersensitive and you seek out sensory information, which is called sensory seeking. The second one is sensory avoidant, and it's in the name. You avoid certain sensory stimulation because it's too intense for you. You could also have both at the same time, which is what I have, and I think that's more common, to be honest. Because, like, say for example, I'm very, 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 very hypersensitive from my ears and my nose, but I'm undersensitive when it comes to my touch. So I actually seek out. I like to when I'm walking around shops and everything else. I like to feel all the textures, and I love to feel textures. That's my thing, especially when I get bored. That's one of my stims. I like to touch things because that's the way I am. But with my ears, though, that's very bad. I need to wear earplugs all the time. I mean, of course, I don't need to wear them. I can get by without them, because mine is, unfortunately for me, my sensory processing disorder is fairly mild compared to some people. It still affects me on a very big way, in a very big way, but it's not as bad as it can be for some people. But I wear earplugs very often because I don't see why I should need to put up with something I feel uncomfortable with, And I wish people were more aware of how people with sensory processing disorder dealt with the world, because it can be very deliberating, and that's not even an exaggeration. Just the sound of a car going past can send people running. I've been like that before. The sound of the vacuum, that sends me running out of the room. The blender, the same thing. I can't stand things like that. And people think I exaggerate, or people think, what the hell is wrong with that guy? But I can't help it. And it's hard for people to fit into a world that is so noisy. I think managers in jobs need to be more aware of this, because especially with autism, it's quite common for them to struggle with sound, especially. That's a big problem. And I think managers need to find ways of, well, they need to understand this more. Because when autistic people, when people with sensory processing disorder say that they are struggling with a certain sensory input, listen to them, because they're not just exaggerating. If something is hurting their ears, well, you need to accept that. You can't just tell them to put up with it, suck it up, grow some balls, be a man. You can't do that. It doesn't work like that. It's not a psychological thing. It's a mental. It's a physical thing in the brain that you cannot control. Mindset only gets you so far, and of course, that's why I don't need to wear earplugs everywhere, because even though I don't need to necessarily, because I can handle a certain level of noise, even though it's very loud and I don't like it, I can handle it. But with me, if something gets overwhelmingly loud, I have a freeze response. I get completely paralyzed and I cannot move. It's basically like I disassociate. It gets that intense. I disassociate from the sound. It's happened in my jobs before. Oh yeah, I've also lost a job because of that reason. Well, that was one reason, and I really struggle with that job for that reason. But they're in the future videos. What was I saying? Don't you love ADHD? What was I saying now? But yeah, I really struggle with my ears, and when I hear something that's too loud, my brain can physically not handle it, and I freeze because I don't want to run away from the situation. I don't know how to fight the situation. I have no choice but to freeze, and people look at me like I've lost my absolute fucking mind. People think I'm insane. But that boat has sailed. I no longer give a shit about that. When I was younger, it used to really bother me, but now I just kind of deal with it because I've got to. I mean, I can't help it, and I can't even explain to them the problem sometimes because they do not understand. Even if they know that, if they know that I've got a hearing problem, they don't fully understand. They cannot grasp how much those sounds hurt my ears, and it's just something that I think more people need to be aware of. It's important because the world is a very noisy place, and since a lot of people live in towns and cities now, people have got to realize that there's got to be a common ground. You can't expect someone with a problem to just fit into a society that's not built for them. Then we're in modern society. We need to be able to connect and find ways to help each other. That's just called being a nice human being. You've got to, and yeah, good. It's good that a lot of places are now, but even though a lot of jobs are becoming more inclusive and more understanding, it's nowhere near enough. But I'm going to be talking about that in another video. So I'll just finish the video here today. That's it. I only stammered a little bit. That's not too bad actually. I hope I will gain more confidence as I make more of these videos. But yeah, that's it. See you guys.